Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, class swing traders. Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Let me just see if I got YouTube up and running. I believe I do. Looks good, looks good, looks good. There's always that delay on YouTube. Oh, hold on, maybe it's not all the way to the end. There we go. All right, beautiful. BEA, beautiful. Just like the response to the CPI numbers, just like us waking up every single day and seeing all of you guys ready to go, ready to work. I love it. We got Albert. Good morning. We got Alex. We got Amy, Andy Richardson. Good morning. We got Bill, Brian Reppel. Good morning. We got Jay, Joe, Caitlin's in the house. Good morning to Kevin, Lauren, Martina, Richard, Jet. We got Rick. Good morning to Ron. Win is in the house. You guys are piling in. Good morning to everybody out there in YouTube land that are kind of sitting there. I think we got I just started a little late, so all you guys in the chat, good morning. We got Franco. Whew, let's see what we got on the SPY though. Numbers they came in fairly light. We have a pretty decent response. Let's zoom out to the that sideways volume for a second just to see where we're really at with everything. We should be using probably about 443.81 is some level of support if we get a pullback. So somewhere in that zone, and we can find a more accurate. Looks like we have a tiny one. I can barely see it on my screen, so I'm guessing you guys can't see it on yours, but somewhere right in that 443. I'm using this kind of volume node to kind of come up with that. There was nothing in the way. Up here, we do have a little bit more volume. So I don't know. I mean, this is a really, really nice gap on the SPY. We're clearing all types of all this. I was looking at this chart last night, right, on the daily, and I'm like, this is a wild pattern. I mean, just essentially besides one small down day, there were still down days, but every single one ended green. I don't think I've seen that before. That's kind of wild. But so we are gapping up. There is some people that were obviously buying anywhere in that little chop zone right here. There was obviously some people buying here, people buying here. I don't know who we're trapping. That's my biggest problem at this point is I really don't know who we're trapping. I think expectations, even the run from yesterday, we kind of bought all to the end of yesterday, rallied into the close. There's got to be some people profitable. That's called Win says that's the little known bull splat. But yeah, it is definitely it is definitely little known. I haven't seen that one. I don't know. History is made. But that being said, we do have this slight level, so nothing crazy, but we do have a slight level on the SPY, which as of now, I mean, we'll see 25 minutes from now what happens, but we could hang out in that zone, 445.77, maybe 445.50. We'll give it even a little room of cushion, but somewhere in that zone is where I think we got to hold if we want to rally it. There is some volume all throughout this thing. Up to 448.32. Once we pass that 448.32, nothing really. I mean, I think the next target at that point really takes us into that 450. Let's see what that exact number was. That was almost 451, somewhere like that, 451. So we're getting up there. I don't think we're really trapping some people. The one thing is there's still a lot of money on the sidelines. There's still the catch-up trade that we haven't, I don't think, seen yet. So let's see where this one wants to go. At open, I probably have to be cautious because just as much as I want to jump in bullish and try to ride this thing up a little further, I don't know. I mean, this technically is a retest gap, and coming back down to this 443.72, getting a bounce from there would give me probably most likely, at least worst case, better risk to reward. So we'll see where this one wants to go from here. We got the Qs. And then I'll talk about some trades or stocks that I do want to look for today. The Qs, again, nice little gap up. not quite breaking out completely like the SPY. So we're still in that one higher move. I can't ignore those VPOCs. I mean, kind of trending down, and now we are gapping out of everybody. If we get a pullback, it's probably going to be to 370.63. I mean, I don't really mind taking anything Qs related at this point. The Qs were in no man's land where SPY we're coming into kind of like one of these areas with higher volume. If we get a pullback on the Qs, or even if we get something set up on the Qs, I don't really see too much of the volume to hold us back. Not a lot of liquidity in this area, so it's got some move. It's got some room to move. Can you look at IMUX and discuss how prices can be manipulated? I know you're addressing that to Jeremy, so this is DJ Dan, just not Jeremy, just FYI. Let's take a look at it. IMUX. That's from Lurking in YouTube land. Well, first of all, you do have a good double bottom on this thing. You're not buying this thing off the lows. This one's actually, and it's below $5, so I'm not going to day trade this one. I just don't trade anything below $5. I don't know exactly what you mean by how the prices can be manipulated below the certain market cap. I think what you're asking, though, is how does stocks in general, maybe not this one specifically, because I don't know this one specifically, but basically if there's light volume, usually anything with and that's why I don't trade anything under $5. Technically, that's considered a penny stock. It's just cheaper. There's a lot of people with a lot of money, and it's easier to, let's say, pump and dump those type of stocks, to go in heavy on certain positions. You get those certain breakouts. Other people start finding like, oh, this one's breaking, and then they jump in, but now you're selling to them. So it's just a little easier to manipulate, especially with the lighter volume that comes in. So this would not be one that I would day trade. And I don't know, again, too much about this specific company, but yeah, smaller market caps, they just have more room for people to push it around. Like you can't, it's a lot more difficult to push something like Tesla and Nvidia, AMD in a direction that you want to, and just kind of pump and dump. I mean, I could probably send out an email blast and tell everybody IMUX is terrific, but I'd be getting in here, pushing it up higher with my own shares, and then send out the email here to push this thing a little bit higher, right? And then by the time this comes out, I mean, that's just a lot more money coming in, and bam, now I could kind of manipulate their shares. It's light volume, exactly. Light volume, lower pricing. When you get to like real penny stocks of like anything under $1, almost pink slips, those are even easier to push around, manipulate, things like that, because you could buy a hefty amount of shares, you get random volume spikes. So that's pretty much what that will come down to. I think that was the question that you were asking. Yep. All right. Nvidia with the gap and go. Lucid butchering the bulls. I like the adjectives. Yes. We got Ron says Roku first. Roku is our first one, and I can't even type it in there. Let's see. ROKU. 2 very strong days in a row, but does it have more room to run? Yeah, it's still got a lot more room to run, to be honest. In a short term, you probably have to wait for a pullback on these. That's what I would assume. That's what I would have to assume. You are coming into a heavier volume area. We have 2 big green days in a row. Price target, if we go extremely bullish today, probably 83.66. So that's still $6 higher from where we're at now. That would be a good day. Kind of like the SPY though, where it's like, yeah, we're gapping up through everything, but we have all of these people that are still profitable in this trade. Anybody that was buying here and just, all right, let me hold it for a while. It's a buy low, sell high. And then you have 2 days of just lots of volume coming in on breakouts. it still looks good, but give me a red candle or something that I could take a break on, because I don't want to, again, I just don't want to be the first one. Roku skips me a lot, but you do have some kind of volume coming in. So I think continuation, but let's see if I don't know if we will, but let's see if we get a little bit of a pullback first. LCID. Butchering the bulls. For now. Yep, so you're down about 40 cents ish, 42 cents. Look out to see if we come down to 751. See how this thing wants to react. 751, 750, somewhere in that zone. That would be a buy the dip. I do think this market is still buy the dip. Question is Lucid buy the dip? I don't like the company at all, me personally. So I don't want to own this thing long term, but you do have good risk to reward if this thing wants to actually break. I think they have a decent squeeze on them as well. But again, the squeeze is not in effect, at least for now, just because you are pulling back on this. Do they have, was it earnings that they had or news? Looks like they have news. Lucid delivers 1,400 EVs in a second. They got that many out there? I think Tesla delivered 1,400 Teslas in the last hour since I started this room 13 minutes ago. That's crazy. Yeah, so very, very small company. Again, could it grow into something bigger and greater? Possibly. I think it's a big road ahead. Again, we are into a little bit of level of volume. Again, this is I'm not gonna short this thing because I think the market is still rather bullish, and I think there is still a squeeze potential on here. Finviz. LCID. Yeah, 9% short float. I actually thought that short float was going to be higher, to be honest. So 9%, not too bad. That's a pretty decent short float. Again, we're going to need some kind of reason as to why we're trapping people. Right now, the bears are winning for sure. But see if we can find some kind of resistance. If not there, even probably about 694 would be a really good spot to attempt it. I'd go 694 and then almost have to throw stops at like 543. I would treat that as a swing trade and just see if this thing wants to bounce. This looks like wave 1, 2. If that's wave 3, okay, maybe we're on wave 4. We curve and S curve up potentially. Let's see, Lucid, NVIDIA, NVDA. Ooh. Large tech companies, especially the 7 in the rebalancing of the Qs. NVIDIA is one of them. We didn't really see too much of a breakout move, even as a lot of individual names were moving and pumping and going crazy. Yesterday, those guys stayed pretty mute. I don't know. So the rebalancing happens July 24th. I don't know what today is, 11th or 12th, something like that. I think today's 12th. So we have about another 11, 12 days until the actual rebalancing happens. I think there's going to be a little extra pressure on the top 7: Apple, Google, NVIDIA, Tesla. Was Amazon in there? Amazon might be in there. Meta for sure. So those names, I think, will have a little bit more pressure. You're already seeing other things break out. These ones are kind of sitting a little still, but this is a gap and go. You are into a little resistance. I think after July 24th is when you see a little bit of a better shot to run without the pressure on it. So keep that in mind. And again, I haven't seen a rebalance ever, so I don't know how this thing plays out. But if this thing could pull down to like 427.81, get some kind of a retest, even though it's a gap and go, that would be the spot that I would look to buy. Otherwise, be cautious. I think of the breakouts. I think it would be a little bit more difficult to break out and we'll see what happens. But I think they will be a little more difficult to break out just with the weighted pressure of we know there's going to be some kind of rebalancing going on. But that is a gap and go. If anybody wants to add that to the list, let's move it up here as well. We usually do keep it on the screen anyway, so we'll typically watch that one. Also low with a gap and goes at lows. Yeah, it's a gap and go kind of. Actually, this one looks decent. It's a gap and go, but yesterday was a retest gap. So really we have just kind of continuation on this thing. But over just one candle, yes, definitely gap and go. That gap and go would come in at highs. So everybody recently is profitable into this thing. I just have to be cautious on this one. I probably have to be cautious on a lot of things, but there was bullish sentiment yesterday, but it was a retest gap. We came in, we retested. That looks good. Will today actually act as a little retest as well? So anybody that was in here at the open, obviously a lot of people did sell. They locked in some profits. Anybody that didn't sell, are they going to be looking for an opportunity to get out? This one might pull back slightly first. I don't know how big the pullback will come in, but I think if anybody was left in this thing just kind of wishing, man, why didn't I just sell? I was up another $2. They might look at this one and that could be an opportunity to take some additional profits. I do think sentiment's still bullish, so still I think buy the dips on lows, but I don't know if I want to be bullish right away. Let's put this one higher on the list. How's lows not lows all this time has never made the list? I just build a list out on based on what you guys say, and then I just never delete them. So I guess this one I could because it's not even a ticker anymore. All right, lows we get up there on the list. Lucid produced 2173 vehicles during Q2. Oh, and then delivered 14. That's because they couldn't find another 700 customers to sell to. I think that's probably why. nobody wanted to buy them. Like, if I buy this car and it breaks, are you guys going to be around in 10 months? I think the only reason didn't Lucid get a deal from the Saudis? I thought they got like a big push in cash to essentially bought them like another 9 months or something. This morning, Amazon. Kevin says Amazon, I think. Amazon the one today. It is the last day of Prime Day. You do have a little bit of resistance up here, so we're gonna have to struggle through some of that. So again, I said the companies that I'm going to look at today or want to look at today. I don't know if it's going to be the Amazons. I don't know if it's going to be the Nvidias, the Teslas. If I see a good trade in it, where I think, okay, maybe. But those are those top 7, which we trade a lot. I do think we have the July 24th pressure that could be added to it for number 1, and those are companies that ran it a lot. I think the better risk to reward today, and some of the squeezes might be very good in play. Ron, if you could give me the one you texted me before too. I'm behind on the chat, but if you could throw that one in there, that one looked decent too. But something that hasn't really run like crazy yet, and it's kind of a catch-up trade. I think those would be the ones that I really want to look at because, again, everybody's profitable in these things already. And we do have this little bit of resistance. And then you have the weight of, okay, what happens during the rebalance? So we could watch this one. Technically, this is a retest gap at resistance. This one I think we'll have to pull back first. But we could watch it. If we do start to break out of this 130.80, that would be very interesting to watch. But even as we got up there, there's been a bunch of wicks too. So could be setting up for a little potential trap. DraftKings, I think got an upgrade today. And that one is it's another one that's kind of already run a lot. Definitely has some more room to run for sure. The next stop I think will take us to about $30.88. We have a little bit of volume. Otherwise, buy the dip on DraftKings. I like it a lot. Next next real stop probably comes in if we could break through some of that little. I mean, all of this is just tiny volume, right? We didn't really have any interest from anybody in the zone, only to about here, and really kind of here, even that small up here a little bit more. Probably we do see 49, 42. I think that is in the future for DraftKings, but I don't think it's a straight shot up. There's probably some kind of pullbacks, things like that. So if we could get a good risk reward trade on this one, I don't mind it. For right now, I think we get to about $30.88. Might stall maybe $31, something like that. But there's not a lot really holding this thing back. So DraftKings is on my list. It's one of those ones that hasn't broke out. We're not hitting close to all-time highs and just up massively, although we are up from the $10 mark about 200%. So you do have to consider that as well. But yeah, there's not a lot holding us back. So DraftKings, I do like. If we could get a setup on that one, I'd be more than willing to attempt a DraftKings trade. But again, we do have to define risk reward, and we've had a good breakout day, little resting day yesterday, and maybe we get that continuation today. So that would be decent. Let's see. HELE. This one we were watching a couple days ago. This is the Helen of Troy. Yeah, it could be one to watch. Really got to start breaking this 137.09, and then you have a lot of room. So if you think that 137.09 is breakable today, then buying earlier would make sense. You are still at the resistance from 2 days ago, 2 trading days ago. What is today? Wednesday? So it's Monday. This is Tuesday. Is that right? But yeah, nice little. This is a beautiful gap to continue to watch. I do agree with that one. Let's get this one higher on the list. Even if we get up to that 137 at this point, that's still $5 to the higher side, which would be decent. But I do want to see us get above, maybe break this 132.10, come back, retest, and then see if we can push from there. Was a bearish engulfing candle yesterday too, so some bulls might be trapped. We'll see. PayPal looks good all the time. Not just today. Yeah, but PayPal is a retest gap into a little bit of resistance too. A lot of these things are hitting this resistance after 2 strong days. As much as I want to get on the bull train for everything, they do have some earnings coming out too. August 2nd, so we still have 15 days, 2 weeks roughly. We're gonna have some resistance probably coming in a little bit higher. Watch 72.21 on PayPal. As much as as much as I want to get on this bull train with everything, some of these things I can't ignore the last 2 days of just craziness. It's very, very hard to do for me. And that might make me act a little more cautious, but it is a very nice gap up. Rebalance equals quantitative easing. It's a little different. Yeah, there's a stock, CNK. So that one looked decent. What was the short float on this one? Nope, not Toyota. CNK. So here's one you got a 22% short float on. This one is a gap and go. This one is, I believe, kind of on the lower side of things. So you do have that kind of good support, little double bottom, started to push up higher. We are above some heavy volume. And then I don't really see a lot of resistance on this thing. If we could break out, so the next stop I think is 1759. So about 39 cents higher from where we're at pre-market. If that starts to break, probably about 1888. So CNK, I'm going to put this one on the list. I don't know the volume on this one, and that could be a killer too. The volume and the spread. But when it opens, we'll get to check that out to see what the actual spread looks like and if it's something that we want to trade. But that is a gap and go. There's 22% short float on this thing. We are getting above. This is the heavier volume area, somewhere around 1695. So It could be a good trade. I don't really see much resistance really up until even the last VPOC we've had. So give me a little pullback, maybe even pre-market setup. We got 3 minutes left. Is there a pre-market break? Ron says looks like a lot of volume. That's just you buying it. No, that's just been you buying it all day. I mean, not crazy on volume. Even taking the break of this candle, maybe 1733. I kind of want to get my stop down here, and that's too wide though. So that would be a 80-cent stop. We need this thing to go $1.60. Let's see if we get a little better risk reward. I can't really take the pre-market on this one. But this is definitely one to watch. That one looks decent. All right. Laser. LAZR. Pretty decent gap. Nothing really holding this one back. First stop maybe comes in at 764, but that's already been retested. I think targets on this one's probably about 785. Again, 30 cents higher. All right, let's get this one on the list. I think I got 2 minutes still. And again, 1, 2, 3 bullish days in a row. We're still inside day of yesterday. So that inside at least will give me a little reason to just not want to jump in right away. Just see if we get any type of full pullback first and then kind of make the play off that. Yeah, lots of wicks. That's a crazy wick. We're just living inside that realm right now. But any pullback, especially if we get down to like 740, then I have a much better risk to reward on it. All right, very likable stream and love your 3 free courses on beginner, intermediate, and advanced. How does GPS look on a bullish retest gap? GPS, appreciate the compliments. I like Gap a lot. This is another short float company. This one I do want to put on the list to go bullish. Even where this is gapping, we might not see a retest on it. Even though it is a retest gap, I would be more than willing to play this one as well out of the gate. So let's get this one up higher. We got like 49 seconds. Now the list is getting so long, it takes 49 seconds just to get the stocks to the top. But yeah, that looks good. It is a high short float company. There is some bulls in there. See if we get some kind of opening red candle, some kind of dip, a little bit at least, and then taking the break. That would be a play I would highly consider for myself. So good find on that one as well. We've got our list. Let me switch over to TOS. Let me get this one on the other screen. Make sure that we've got the official trade section set up so I can post those quickly if we have to. We do have all day to trade. So, and I'm not telling you guys that, I'm telling myself that. But there's the bell. Opening bell has come in. So everybody out there in YouTube land, you guys are absolutely incredible. I do appreciate the compliments on the free courses we got. And if you guys have not checked that out, make sure you guys do so. They are on Real Life Trading, and you could trade with us all day. We got all access pass from 9 till 6. Otherwise, be safe out there in the market. CPI was good. I think bullish where you could get in makes sense.